It's like, no, bitch, you do care. Why did you make a secret stalker account and find him? You were supposed to be a one-night hookup.
Your wardrobe screams fatherless.
We have more trust in
Honestly,
that top
this is
diving
kinda
people.
disgusting
How was your
and
relationship with
disappointing,
your
but it's
father?
nice. Just saying, why did you get the attention you wanted?
You need Jesus.
That's offensive. Hello everyone, it is DEELZ here and I am caffeinated. I don't know if you can hear the little, the excitement and the godlike complex in my voice, but I am caffeinated. So welcome back to That's Offensive. And here I have a very special guest. I say that about every guest, but everyone's very special.
Yeah, everyone is a snowflake. Everyone is unique.
That's what I say about penises.
Oh my God. That's what I say about people and fingerprints, but whichever works.
I also say that about tits when my friends are like, oh my God, but my tits are like, my labia doesn't look like that. I'm like, but every tit and labia is like a snowflake.
Everything is different. That's one of my favorite Big Mouth episodes is when Jessie goes to her mom's spa for the first time and everyone's running around naked. And she's like, oh my God, every vagina is different. And I feel like that is definitely something that everyone goes through in childhood. Once you start actually showering around your peers, being like, oh my God, my body is different, your body is different.
I know.
Whose body is bad, whose body is good?
My best friend growing up had, I feel like, just the porn star vagina, just was born with it. Her mom also had the porn star vagina.
Oh my, wait, why do you know that her mom had a porn star vagina?
Because we all would pee together, we would all just hang out. But then when they saw mine, they were like, oh, have you ever thought about surgery? Not thinking that I would take it so to heart. Because it's
how is that not offensive, though?
I don't even think they were thinking about it, sexually. They were like, your camel toes. Because, I don't think, my flap, or, it's what is the skin in between? The actual
that's
labia
the
part
labia,
hangs
yeah.
lower than the other skin. So they're like, I don't think that's normal. And I'm like, oh my God, I have roast beef hanging out.
Oh my God, there's actually a lot of surgeries for vaginas, crazy enough. I was just talking to the chick that does my Botox, and she was like, have you ever thought about getting the O shot? I'm like, what?
Oh, I want that.
Dude, I just can't think about, someone putting a needle into my vagina. That just, it doesn't sit right with me at all. That literally sounds like a Saw movie or some shit. I don't know.
I've had a few friends who have had it, so only one of them it didn't work for, but then the other one can, come from dick. Because I think it's, a 20% rate of, people it doesn't work for, but then the other 80%, my friend is like,
I've heard that before. I thought that was bullshit.
Oh, what? That it works?
No, I thought it was bullshit that people couldn't come during sex because I can. So I didn't. I was surprised that was a thing when I found that out.
You probably don't need it. That's the case.
No, I'm like, if that's why you get it, then I'm good. I definitely don't need a needle in my vagina then.
That's why most people get it, yeah. Because I personally have come from dick maybe 4 times, and I have had sex many, many times. I definitely have had sex more than 4 times in my lifetime.
I mean, I feel like it comes down between two things, especially for women. Sex is very emotional. So even if the dick is bomb, you will not come because you're not mentally going to let go like that. And then B, you have to think about the fact that it's an energy exchange. So there's energy blocks. That's literally your sacral chakra. If that's blocked, you won't be able to have release like that because your energy is blocked there.
Yeah. For me, the only times I've come from sex were actually a surprise to all of us. I think the first time his dick was just curved and hitting my G-spot, and then the other, I guess, wait, was it only, 3 times in my life? Yeah.
You can count?
Yeah, 3 times that I've come from penetration. That's why I got really into my vibrators, and I just don't have sex with men that often anymore.
Well, when I was 13, my mom, when I first started asking questions about sex, it wasn't I was just some innocent 13-year-old. My mom was like, bro, you need a vibrator. No. I was asking questions about sex, and my mom got me a vibrator, and she was like, listen, this will never get you pregnant, and no one will ever care about your orgasm as much as you, so figure out what makes you have an orgasm so that you can explain it to guys, because guys are figuring out how to give themselves an orgasm. They're not figuring out how to give women an orgasm. They're not staying up nights figuring it out. They're figuring themselves out. It's you figure yourself out, and then it'll be way easier going forward. And I think that's why I've had such a positive experience with sex. I also observe the 24-hour rule for majority of my life still to this day of if you feel that way in 24 hours, then go for it. But if not, then you probably shouldn't have done it 24 hours ago.
Oh.
So that stopped me from so much. So much. I'd be like, oh, I really want to, I'm just going to make out with you. And like, I really want to do more like in high school, but I'm going to wait 24 hours and we're going to see how I feel. And then I would literally wake up the next day like, I am an angel and a child of God. I will not be anywhere near you.
Wait, that's so fucking smart because okay, so my parents taught me that like masturbation was a sin, that like I shouldn't have sex.
Lovely.
So like
the full abstinence preach.
The full abstinence. I had my purity ring for a while, and then when I started like having sex, I went full whore mode. Like I mean, in high school I was kind of a whore.
Though.
Yeah, that's what happens. Like I had sex with a lot of people, like 6 people in high school, which for high school is probably a lot, but you know, whores be whores these days. And then in college, it was like I needed to have sex like every fucking weekend because like I didn't know what a vibrator was. No one was actually getting me off. So it's like
you thought that you needed sex to have an orgasm. And you're like, I want to have an orgasm. I guess I need a dude.
And I wouldn't even be having orgasms, so I'd be like somewhat pleasured. Like I would somewhat like have my needs satisfied. And then I'd be like, well, now I need sex again because it's like I am so horny. And then I was so lucky because I met up with this guy on Tinder. And
did he have a vibrator?
Yeah, he tied me up, blindfolded me, used a vibrator, and all of a sudden I was like, did you just come already? Because I didn't know I was a squirter, and I just everywhere. And then after him, I was like, I don't need to be a whore anymore.
Literally.
I have a vibrator. So
vibrators will keep you safe, dude. They'll keep you at home. They'll keep you focused on business. I've like literally had so many conversations with girls. Like I manifest while like I orgasm. Like I've had conversations with girls like, oh, I would honestly rather have sex with like a vibrator because they have so much trauma around like having sex with someone else that they're like, the only way I can have an orgasm is with a vibrator because it's just me.
Yeah.
It's like crazy things. It's like to think that women need a machine and like men just like use their hands. Like women use their hands too, but like it's just different with a vibrator. I don't know how to explain it. And men don't really have that. Like a pocket pussy's not the same.
Yeah, it's really not. Although I did gift a guy a pocket pussy before, and then he broke up with me like a week later. So
oh my God.
I helped him replace me.
I don't know. Maybe he was like, damn, she's trying to have less sex with me. Maybe she's not into me because she gave me a pocket pussy. She's trying to divert me from hers to get me away.
It was like right when COVID started. So like, and we were in different states. So there was
oh, well then he broke up with you because you were in different states, bro, and it was COVID.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
That's fair.
He was pulling away, and I'm like, you know what will work? The pocket pussy.
Oh my God.
It didn't. Ladies, if he's pulling away, like.
Don't get him a pocket pussy.
Don't get him a pocket pussy. And something I do that don't do is like when guys are pulling away, like to send nudes.
No.
I'm like, no, it doesn't. No. Ladies,
no.
Don't do like Adelia.
Don't do that. Definitely don't do that. I don't think I've ever sent a nude to anyone except my current boyfriend. I was just always so scared that like it was very weird in high school. Like I did a lot of singing and extracurricular stuff. Like I was on America's Got Talent. I shot with American Apparel. So a lot of people kind of would talk shit about me and like gossip about me without having anything to talk about. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yo, if I give any of these little like snotty boys a picture and they are doing all this shit with nothing to talk about, I've given them nothing, what are they going to do with a picture? Or if I fuck one of them, like that was literally what kept me out of so much shit is like, y'all are already talking about me and I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
So if I even, like, it was like, oh my God, she has tits and she does music videos. She's a whore. I'm like, okay, so if I actually did something, then I would definitely be the town whore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to be the most prude bitch that has ever existed. And I carried that like pretty much all the way through high school. I like only kissed like 1 or 2 guys.
Wow. Wait, so where did you live? Because
New York City.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I went to high school in Soho.
Interesting, because I feel like schools on like the West Coast particularly, sluttiness is almost like encouraged.
Well, it's hot out here. It's warm. Y'all are all like naked all the time. We're in like hoodies and sweatshirts majority of the year in New York. Like
that makes sense.
Trudging through the snow. Like we're not going to house parties. No one has a house. You have an apartment and it gets shut down within the first hour. Like there's no house parties.
Okay.
It's like under 18 parties that are put on by like the rich kids in an event space and you have to pay like $10 to go to it.
Oh my gosh.
Like crazy shit. Or
How
like
interesting.
teen clubs that like there's a teen night that's like from 8 to 11 or bro, bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs if you can sneak into those because they would rent out like the real clubs in New York because you have all these like super wealthy like rich kids that are getting bar and bat mitzvah in New York. So they're like, oh, Gilded Lily, we're going to rent it out from 7 to 11, like a real club experience for our 13-year-old and her friends. And then everyone's out by the time it's like a real club, but you feel so fucking cool because you're like a kid in a club. And it's a real club.
That would have been sick. Like, the bat mitzvahs I went to were kind of shitty, and like one of the parents accidentally gave me the wine instead of the like grape juice, and I got fucked up, and like how they didn't know how to explain it.
To be completely honest, 13 years old, the whole like bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah experience is 13-year-olds becoming men and women.
Yeah.
So that is actually when you start drinking Manischewitz wine at like this Passover and Seder and everything. So was probably not an accident. You probably got wine on purpose because you were 13 and you were a woman.
I was like 12, but
they didn't know that.
They didn't know.
What they did not know did not hurt them. It hurt you.
So I wanted to start off with like a fun little segment. I feel like we've already been shaking like the little like loosey-gooseys out, but like look at the camera, like you're talking to like one of your exes, and what's one thing that you wish they would have done sexually that like you now have the opportunity to tell other men to do?
Oh, just listen to what I'm asking. I'm very direct. I'm very clear. I know what I like. And if you know what you like, I'm down to experiment. However, I pretty much know what I like. So listen.
So listen. All these men who are like I've had men like eat me out, and I'm like, I don't even know how to tell them to do it better, because like it's like they've never seen a pussy before.
Well, like whenever I don't judge anyone, like free-spirited, open friends. So I have a lot of friends like ask me like, how do I do this? Or like, what do you do if you're in this situation? I'm always like, oh my God, like how did I become this friend? But okay, here we go. Let's dive in. The way that I usually like, I say like kind of like padding correct, like when you're bowling and you have the things up when you're a kid so it doesn't fully go off. Like you can't fully take them off the track, but I just say like, oh, like I would do this, I like this, so it like diverts them away from the thing that they're doing that I don't like, instead of saying I don't like that, don't do that. And if you like really want to talk about it, like they keep doing it, be like, listen, it doesn't really get me going like that, like you might think when you do this. Is it something that's really like good for you? And usually it's something that like they think they're doing to make your experience better. So when you say in a nice non-ego shattering way,
yeah,
that's not the best thing. Maybe let's try it this way. If they don't listen, then they're assholes. And if they like you and they care about your orgasm and they care about you, then they will listen and they'll do that.
Yeah. Haven't had that experience yet. Their egos are so fragile.
Dude, but we've also had like talks about like the types of guys you like, and it's like actually traumatizing. Yeah. So I'm not surprised by that.
These like frat boys, like they like my one friend used this analogy, like they use me to like basically masturbate, because it's not like it's an equal sex experience. It's like they're using me to come and then it's done.
Well, are you fucking anyone that like truly cares about you?
No.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's why I don't really fuck.
So you literally are like a human
masturbation
toy. Yes.
Girls,
don't do that.
If you're not getting your nut, you are literally...
Why are you there? I guarantee you, if you told a guy like, hey, come over to my house and you're not gonna come, but like it's gonna be a fun time, he wouldn't. Like let's be for real.
Yeah, he wouldn't. But I mean, at least for men, it's so fucking easier to come.
I don't think that's the case. I think that it's just more societally like acceptable for men to experiment with themselves the same way that like my mom encouraged me to experiment with myself. Like most men, they're like, oh, like I masturbate. Their dad's like, yeah, buddy, like let's, yeah, like, oh, did you fuck a bitch yet? Yeah, like women, it's like, don't masturbate. That's a sin. Like only sleep with him if he's your boyfriend and you're still a whore, depending on what age you do it at. Like, and then when you guys break up, you're a whore again. Like what? Like what? That none of that makes sense. So I think it's just literally like men don't have as many mental hangups and like blockages when it comes to sex and sexual experiences as women do. Yeah. Just based on society. And women are very intellectual. Women are very like mentally stimulated beings. Like we really need to have a mental connection with someone to be able to have that type of physical connection. Yeah. So if you are taking that away, then where are you going with it?
Where are you going?
Where are you going to get your nut if you don't have that connection with someone?
Yeah. So here's a question for you. Did you always know that you were bisexual, or was this something that like you more recently discovered?
To be honest, my parents were super open, fluid, like people. They just are free love, like everyone, just be happy and do what you want to do. So I really like experimented when I was younger. I started kissing girls before I even started kissing guys because I just didn't feel like that was as much of a power exchange. It was like, oh, like I just kissed my friend and like we would practice on each other and see who was a good kisser and like things like that. So I started to realize like there were certain friends that I was like, oh, like I want to kiss her again. Like certain friends I'd be like, oh yeah, like we kissed, like it was fun, like haha. And then certain friends I'd be like, oh, like I kind of like want to kiss her and more like that. I would talk to her later, like. But also to me, like, I feel like everything's on a spectrum. Like, I believe in the Kinsey scale where it's not like you're bi, you're straight, you're gay. It's like everyone is on the spectrum of some sort. And the way I like to explain it is like I'm sexually into men and women, but I'm only romantically into men.
Oh my gosh, there's a term for it. So you're bisexual, but hetero-romantic.
Yes.
Yeah, I just found that out because I was always like, am I even bi if I don't know if I could like date a woman? And then my friend was like, yes, because
there's women that don't even want to kiss women at all. So that like that's what like I will always say to people. They're like, oh, well, how are you bi if you would never date a girl? Do you want to kiss a girl? No, I don't. I only want to kiss guys. Well, that's how I know that I'm bi because I would like to kiss women too.
Yeah.
I like doing that. So you don't. That's what makes me different than you and bisexual. Thank you.
Yeah, I think like the first moment there were like a few moments for me where I was like, I'm bi, but I had my cooter licked by a girl, and I was like, this is better than like any male experience I've ever had.
Well, also like you have the same mechanics.
Organs,
like you know exactly what you would like correct when someone else was doing it. So you're like, oh, if I do that thing that I would have done that I wish that guy would have done on this girl, then I know it's going to be a good fucking time. Like, it's almost easier. It's like playing a game that you've already played before versus, like, figuring a new one out.
Yeah. For you, have you had, like, better sexual experiences with girls or guys, do you think?
I've honestly had better sexual experiences with guys, but I've pretty much been in long-term relationships other than, like, this 4.5-5 year period where I had to like very much work on myself and heal myself. But most of my sexual experiences have been in relationships, so it's been a very positive experience for me, very connected, like very soul bonding. And my Venus is in Scorpio, so I do a lot of healing through sexual experiences, a lot of death and rebirth and like
sick.
Crazy shit.
Oh my gosh, if only. I'm like, sexual experiences, like at least with men and especially like in the past few years, I'm like, I just like feel weird. I get the ick after. I'm like, oh.
Well, that's what I feel like. That is literally your intuition. That was an energy exchange that you probably should not have had because women keep a lot of their energy in their womb. Like essentially like, so if you have someone entering you with bad energy, they're literally exchanging their energy with you. Yeah. And honestly, like, you're putting another person inside of you. Yeah. It's all external for men. Like, women, you're literally, like, taking in that energy. Women are naturally more empathic, so you're literally absorbing, like a sponge, like, the most energy you could probably absorb from a person at all.
Yeah, can you explain, because you mentioned like the sacral chakra and like this area, can you explain how like sex is like related to that and like what energy can be blocked?
So sex is related to that. I actually got my chakras realigned last year, like a little bit into meeting my boyfriend, because I was like, whoa, like I know there's still some shit that I need to clear like before I can be like completely open in this relationship, and he's amazing, so I need to do this for this relationship to be the best. And the way your sacral chakra can get blocked is like through sexual trauma, through emotional trauma, through pretty much any type of trauma. Any of your chakras can get blocked through trauma or whatever is happening in your life. So sexually, the way I think about it is like if that is like a battery where you need to like charge it and then it can like give off energy, you are taking in energy from a source that is essentially unknown if you don't know who you're sleeping with. Yeah. And you're kind of filling your sacral chakra with that type of energy too. It's not just your soul, like pure energy. Yeah. That's why I feel like a lot of women can't orgasm with a partner because they're either with the wrong partner and that energy exchange isn't matched, and they'll be like, oh, I can orgasm by myself though. Yeah, because that's just your energy. That's just you having your own energy flowing. And of course you can. You feel safe in that energy. That's your own energy. But when you start to include outside energies, if they're vibrating in a different way than you are, then it's going to change your energy, and it might not always feel the best. You might feel sick after. You might feel, like the few times that I ever in my life had sex that was like not emotionally connected, I literally felt gross the next day.
Yeah.
Like so gross. Like just like, and I know this person's intention wasn't for me to feel gross or used. Like it was never like a shitty experience where it was like, put your clothes on and get out. Like it was never like a situation where it was like, I should have felt like, oh my God, like he was such a dickhead. It was just like, I don't feel good, and I don't really want to talk to you or look at you again because you're going to remind me of this feeling I have right now, and that's gross, and I don't know why, but I feel gross after this.
Yeah, and I think, like, I don't know how guys can, like, disconnect, like, their emotions from this, but, like, why would I, even if, like, the sex was good with someone, but why would I want to, like, spend my time with someone who I think has, like, an average personality, who has an average time? Like, I even, like, don't hang out with, like, some of my, I guess, more acquaintance friends because I'm like, well, why do I want to spend my time? Or like I'd rather conserve my energy and like hang out with the people I truly love to hang out with, who like make me better and like do all these things. And like when you're having these like random ass hookups, you don't like get that experience.
No, not at all. It's so not like a beneficial or soul building or growing experience. It's literally just like, it's very primal. It's very just like, I have an urge and you have an urge and we're both like scratching that urge, but not really because it's very mechanical.
Yeah.
But I really do feel like men have a separation. Like it's very much not the same, and that's whatever people want to say that's sexist. I've literally talked to groups of men and groups of women, and I've talked to so many dudes that are just like, I've literally fucked a bitch and did not even know where she went after, what her name was, didn't follow her on Instagram, didn't give a fuck. Girls, it's like, okay, like I did make it like a secret stalker account, and like I do know who he is, and like I low-key found him, but like I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, no, bitch, you do care. Why did you make a secret stalker account and find him? You were supposed to be a one-night hookup. Like, I've never heard women be able to fully detach from sex, and that's not saying that they're not out there, but I've seen men do it in a non-traumatized way, but anytime a woman is like emotionally detached from sex, it has to do with some type of trauma. That's just how it's been in my experience through talking to large mass groups of women.
Definitely. And for me, because I definitely have trauma with men, but like when I have bisexual experiences with women, it's so weird because like I don't have the same weird attachments. I can get my nut. They can get their nut, and it's like
mad times too.
Huh?
Like 5,000 times too.
And it's so nice because like then we just stay like besties after, and it's like there's no expectations. There's no like.
It's a power exchange. That's the same thing that I talked about like with kissing when I was in high school. I just realized like the second a guy would get what he wanted, it would be like, oh, fuck that bitch, I don't even care about her anymore. Versus like I'd kiss my friends and we'd be like, okay, like what are you doing tomorrow? Like, do you want to make chocolate chip cookies? Like, do you want to make popcorn? And like, oh, we could kiss more, like too, like, cause I kind of like you, but like, we won't talk about that because I don't think you really understand that yet. I understand that.
Do you and your boyfriend ever have like threesomes?
Yeah, I don't understand like why if like you're a girl that's into girls. And it's like on your terms and you're picking the girl, why you wouldn't, I always say like it's like sharing your girlfriend with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like it's not like your boyfriend has two girlfriends. You're sharing your girlfriend with your boyfriend. It's so that you can have a little girlfriend.
That's how so many people on like TikTok, like in like poly relationships describe it as. So like what?
Well, poly's different. Poly is separate relationships. A threesome is everyone together.
Oh, okay.
Poly is like if we had a relationship and we went on separate dates and like I came over to your house for like a few days and I stayed with you and then like I was with D-Cut for a few days and like I stayed with him and you had another guy, like it's like multiple relationships.
I'm learning today. So what do you think are some really good like rules and boundaries to set like before you have a threesome? Because I think like I have friends who like are in relationships, they don't even know, like they're like part of me is interested in it, but they don't want to like get jealous or they don't want to like then get in a big fight afterwards. So like boundaries are probably really important beforehand.
Well, like communication is everything. Boundaries are everything. Being clear about knowing what your feelings are and your awareness around your feelings are is so important. It's not an easy situation for everyone to be in because a lot of people have trauma around being cheated on or have trauma around like crazy things to do with sexual experiences. So I just feel like it's about setting your boundaries, setting your rules, setting your guidelines, having it be on whatever terms you need it to be on for you to feel comfortable and safe, like you can be in the experience.
Yeah.
Like, I've literally had conversations with my boyfriend where he's like, oh, like, maybe this girl. I'm like, no, I don't think she's hot. He's like,
Yeah.
well, like, I'm like, no, I don't think she's hot. The end.
The end.
The end. The end.
Everyone
Because
needs to consent.
do you know how fun that would be, me, like, trying to, like, be into a girl I'm not into? Like, she would have a terrible time, I would have a terrible time, and you think that'd be a fun three-way for you?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, it wouldn't. But it's just like,
you guys just both trying to share a dick because, like, you guys didn't want to, like, kiss each other.
dude, that would literally, I'd be like, you need to leave my house right now. You need to get out of my house. And that's also, like, one of the rules. Like, if it needs to stop at any point, like, because someone is overwhelmed or, like, needs it to stop, it stops. Like, at the end of the day, I love him and he loves me, and this is just a fun thing that we're doing. It's a fun experience to have. If we stay together for the rest of our lives, it's like 80 fucking years. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me we can't have fun in our 20s, in our 30s, or until we have kids or whenever? Just, like, as long as it's open and honest and there's communication and there's trust and there's, like, healthy boundaries, I feel like couples should be as experimental as they want to be. Try everything once, and if you don't like it, don't do it again.
Yeah. What is, like, your perfect, like, explain your perfect threesome or, like, your perfect fantasy of a threesome?
Probably my perfect threesome fantasy would be, like, on a vacation.
Oh, or, like...
Just, like, fire in, fire out. Like, she's bae for a few days.
Yeah. Maybe, like, an adult hotel or whatever those are.
See, adult hotels, like, my whole thing, like, my kink, I guess, is, like, belonging to someone. So, like, having other men around would, like, very much creep me out. Like, unless
kidding.
it's my boyfriend, I, like, don't want men around really, like, in my energy unless, like, I know them and I feel safe around them. But I definitely have gone through, like, my fair share of experiences of having, like, my feminine energy just, like, pressured or, like, feeling, like, fear shit from different masculine presences. So it's very much a thing of, like, I need to assess men before I, like, allow them in my space versus women. I'm like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, girls, I know you. Like, let's talk, blah, blah, blah. Like, a guy, I'm like, okay, I need to, like, figure out who you are and talk to you and, like, figure out if I want to let you around me or not.
Yeah, so what,
I would love to, like, have, like, a vacation where it's, like, a fucking, like, an adult hotel of all women, and I just get to go with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, that would be fire to me.
That would
Like,
be so
everyone's
fun.
naked, there's no men here, and I can just run around and, like, pray at the full moon.
So, like, when you're having a threesome, do you want, like, almost all of the attention to be on you? Because, like, my idea, which, like, just probably because of some of my sexual trauma, but, like, if I were to have a threesome, and I don't even know if this counts, like, I would want my boyfriend to watch me and the girl hook up, like, on a couch, and then when she leaves, he can join. But it's like, I would just want the
Well,
attention
that's
to be
not
on.
technically a threesome.
Okay.
That is, you want your boyfriend to watch you fuck a girl and then fuck you. That's not a threesome.
Okay, so not, yeah, okay.
A threesome, everyone has to have fun. It's threesome.
Threesome fun.
Exactly. So everyone has different boundaries. Again, it's like such a personal experience of, like, what you're personally comfortable with. And I think it's just, like, a lot of things you won't know how you feel until you see it.
Yeah.
So if you see it and you don't like it, then stop it. And if anyone's being weird about that, then fuck them. And just, you know, keep it pushing. Just literally the best way to go about anything from threesomes to anything in life is just being open and honest and communicating how you truly feel and what your expectations are and everything that would make it go the easiest for you. And then the person in turn has to do the same thing, because if there's anything that clashes, then you have to discuss that. Or hopefully, like, you're just like, oh, that's your perfect situation. That's my perfect situation. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any issues with the boundaries that you have. Let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what issues could you really have with the boundaries? Like, you get to have a threesome as a guy.
Yeah.
Are you going to be like, no. Like,
No. I'm like,
that's the rule breaker. No.
I'm like thinking about another girl sucking his dick, so I get to eat her clit because, like, the dick sucking is harder for me.
That's the thing is, like, blowjobs are not called a job for no reason.
They are.
Sometimes you need some help. Sometimes you just tag a bitch in. And that's, like, that's where it comes to, like, I don't understand how girls that don't like girls can have threesomes, because I have to be, like, just as much wanting this bitch for it to not make me feel like kind of like my spidey senses to go off and my territorialness to come in, because then I'm like, I don't even want to fuck you and you want to fuck my man. Like, no, like you don't get to fuck my man, like not with me not wanting to fuck you. Like that doesn't work like that. So if you like a girl, like you're just as excited to sleep with that girl as you are to like be in that situation with your man. And especially if that's something that your man wants, I'm someone that like I get turned on by giving the person that I'm with what they want. So now I like girls. Now I'm giving you what you want. Like, how am I not having a good time?
Yeah.
Of course I'm having a good time if there's open communication and everyone follows the rules.
Yeah, and I feel like some couples, like, I mean, some of them just, like, they'll never see eye to eye sexually. So, like, it might just not be compatible because someone has certain ideas and fantasies that the other person just will never want to live up to. So that can, like, create some toxicity.
100%, and that's why I feel like when you first start dating, I feel like people do a lot of work to try to get the other person to like them and not a lot of work of like trying to figure out if they actually like that person or if that person actually likes who they are. Like if you are the type of person that it's like someone comes in and they're like, oh, well, you should only be watching like documentaries and now you're only watching documentaries. Like, do you want to watch documentaries or did you alter yourself to try to fit into what this person wants? So... But you also might be someone that's like, oh, I never thought about that. Like, it's more educational. Let me start trying to watch documentaries and, like, get my mental up. That's just growth. But if you're just, like, trying to change yourself to be something for someone else, it's never going to go the way that you want it to be because you're just becoming, like, a second-rate version of them.
Yeah.
Like a shadow version. It's weird.
And a lot of, like, there's just... I think a lot of people who have like this like shallow confidence where it's like they get so much validation from being this person that like other people want them to be that they can't even be honest with themselves. Like for example, like if I were to date a guy, it would take a long time before like I would want to have a threesome because like this deep fear in my brain is like he's gonna leave me for her, you know?
Yes, but you have to think about it at the end of the day. Like if he's gonna leave you for her, he's gonna leave you for someone else.
Yeah.
Like
that's
you
why I gotta
can only control you. You are only one person, and that is the only person you can control. So if someone's gonna cheat on you, if someone's gonna lie to you, if someone's gonna backstab you, if someone's gonna leave you for the bitch that you had a three-way with, they're gonna do that shit regardless.
True.
That girl's gonna slide into their DMs at some point that is gonna make them leave you if they were gonna leave you. Like at the end of the day, if someone's in love with you, they're in love with who you are as a person, and that's not gonna be changed by one fun drunk night or a DM slide or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and if it's like a real relationship, it'll like withstand
Exactly.
all of that.
If anything, it's a test, and you're like, damn, we made it past that test. Fire.
Just
Keep it
makes you
pushing.
closer.
I've had conversations with my friends, like, do you know how many people get cheated on, like, in their 50s because someone gets, like, stir crazy? Like, either way, it's not just men cheating. Women cheat, too. Women cheat emotionally. Men cheat emotionally. So if you... That, I feel like, comes from people trying to be the person that they think their partner wants them to be instead of just being themselves, because then they meet this person that's like, oh, you're so cool, I just want to be around you for who you are, and they're like in love with the way that this person sees them, not even so much of that person. That's why, like, when someone cheats and they don't fall in love and like it's just like a momentary lapse of judgment, it usually has nothing to do with like, I need to have sex. It's like, I need to feel desired and appreciated, and I need to feel like someone wants me. And that's what cheating is more so about. It's not, to me, even about, like, I need to have sex with someone, because you could literally go home and have sex with your wife, like, 9 times out of 10. But you cheat because you need to feel that energy, that angst, that drive, that someone wants me, someone desires me, that makes me feel good about myself. So that goes back to, like, always make your partner feel that way. Like, never stop doing what you did to get them, because that's how you lose them.
Yeah.
If you started out buying your girl like flowers every Tuesday, don't wait till 2 years into the relationship to stop buying her flowers every Tuesday. And then you're like, she gets mad once a week. Yeah, bitch, you used to buy her flowers once a week. And she's not going to say, like, I want you to buy me flowers, but, like, why would you stop doing something that you set up in the relationship as something that you did?
Yeah.
If she just stopped sucking your dick, I bet you would have a problem with it if she sucked your dick every Tuesday. Like, for real. Come on.
Literally, men after breaking up, like, they'll get mad that, like, you don't want to, like, do something. And you're like, what? Is there like a disconnect? Like, is your brain like still connected to the rest of your body?
See, that's never been a thing for me, because I do full radio silence. Like, you will not hear from me. I might as well have dropped off Thanos snap, like, face of the planet, because that is the only way I can get over anyone. Like, even if I break up with you, like, to me, that's just as hard to break up with someone, because you're not breaking up with them because you're like, fuck you, like, this is fun for me. You're breaking up with them because, like, it's not working. Yeah. And you are taking the step as an adult to, like, not be in a toxic environment anymore, but it doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. So for me, like, if we break up, you got to drop off the face of the planet. I got to drop off the face of the planet. I got to completely erase you, Men in Black, from my memory.
Yeah, so you've been in a few toxic relationships.
I've only been in one toxic relationship. This is my third relationship ever. So the first one was like puppy love, and it was just like we were growing at different rates, and it got to the point where it just like wasn't healthy anymore, and I just didn't really feel appreciated, so I ended the relationship. We took a break first, which is why I don't ever support breaks. Like, breaks is just a road to a breakup. Yeah. I don't know anyone that's ever taken a break and it's gone well, other than like Ross and Rachel, but we still don't know how that turned out. So it was that one. Then my second one was extremely toxic and abusive, and it made me realize that I needed to do a lot of work on myself, not only on like the trauma that I got from that relationship, but whatever I was dealing with in my life that led me to be in a relationship that was so toxic and so traumatic for me, and stay in it. Yeah. Because it was like, of course it didn't start that way. Like, nothing ever starts that way. For the first like couple months, it was not that way at all. And then you think like, oh, it's just a bad day, or it's just a bad week. And then you're counting like the days you're not fighting and getting excited if you hit 3. I'm like, that's not good. That's toxic. But I had to get rid of like my savior complex. I feel like I can help everyone, and I felt kind of like, because I was raised with such great parents and such like an open and loving household, I had so much love to give for like people that weren't raised that way. But at the end of the day, you can really only help people that are interested in helping themselves, and that's something that I had to learn the hard way. And I think the hardest way to learn that is in a relationship, because that's the last person you want to ever give up on. Yeah, so like in a relationship, because I've definitely been through this, I'm not sure if you relate to this, but do you kind of like look for the person who is like hurting you and being like emotionally abusive, and then you look at them for like the validation, because like they made you so insecure that now you're kind of like, well, I want to feel secure and validated by the person who made me feel this way. It's almost like an addiction. Well, yeah, that's part of like the trauma that you kind of have to get out of, is whatever like the first heartbreak was, you trying to like recreate that and change the outcome of it. And you really just have to let go of all attachments, as weird as that sounds, to pretty much everything, because your type is probably set up with some type of trauma and construct that is not actually your type at all. It's probably a mix of some boy that like you liked and had a crush on, and then some personality trait from a guy that you dated, and then another personality trait from this guy. And like, it's not even a type that you have. It's a buildup of all these people that you're trying to change the narrative and kind of like go back in time and change what happened to you by doing it and playing it out in another situation. Yeah. And usually it's going to turn out the exact same way, which then you get into the situation of, all guys are toxic. And it's like, no, you're picking the same toxic fucker over and over and over again. And until you stop attracting toxicity by being toxic, you're going to keep winding up in a toxic relationship. I call it being dickmatized or clipmatized. That's my word. I say dick whipped or clit whipped. Oh! But that's like when you're getting like good dick or like good clit shit. Like, that's like, damn, like you could do whatever you want to me right now. Like, I don't even care. Just keep fucking me. Yeah, the guys who I like hope for a different outcome from are like the guys who it's like I feel like if their dick wasn't as good, like I wouldn't have been so like weirdly obsessed with them. And it's like, and again, they never made me come, but like I could still like get like, you know. No, I don't know. I don't know. I do not. I don't know. That has never happened to me. Like, the sex would still be good, and like I would be like, oh my god, like that sex was amazing. But then like my vibrator, I'd have to finish. But how was it amazing if you had to finish with your vibrator? Something about. And we're not talking about like, oh, I just want to come again and I'm being greedy. We're talking about like you needed to get your orgasm from your vibrator. That's not amazing sex. Yeah, I don't know. Something about like the way they'd be really aggressive in the girth of their dick.
something around that, like it would get almost like my aggressions out for them to be so aggressive with me, and I'd be like, yes. Like now I'm like, it's kind of like when I
I'm ready to masturbate.
Yeah.
Thank you for the foreplay. What?
It's like when I headbang to dubstep and I get like horny. It's like they'd kind of be like that before I masturbate.
Oh my God.
I don't even know how I got so stigmatized by people who didn't try.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
You know, and this is like, because, like, this was, like, a few years ago. Like, there was a guy who I recently almost got stigmatized by, but, like, because we started, like, making content. And then I was like, you know, his personality is just not it. The way he treats me just isn't it.
Dude.
After 2 times, I was done.
Have you seen the meme that's like, most people, if you take sex off the table, they don't have much to offer? That's why, like, literally every relationship that I've been in, my first relationship, 6 months before we had sex.
Wow.
But he also took my virginity, so that's, like, long as hell.
Uh-huh.
He, like, had to break down, like, all the virgin walls and everything and be like, trust me.
Yeah.
I love you. And I'm like, okay, maybe. But then my second boyfriend, it was a little over a month.
Mm-hmm.
And Dika was actually the shortest, but honestly, everything with us was like very accelerated. Like we met, we hung out for 8 hours, and then we started FaceTiming for like 5-6 hours at a time every day after that. So
Yeah.
it's like everything was accelerated. So it makes sense that was a shorter time period. But I'm so in favor of like making people wait at least like 2-3 weeks, because think about it. How much do you really know someone in 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah.
You don't really.
Recently,
That's still short.
I've been having a crush on someone for at least 2 months before I ever make an advance on them.
Well, no, that's different. If you have a crush,
Well, like,
then you have like 2 to 3 weeks to explore if you want to take that crush further. You don't wait 2 to 3 months to be in the crush phase. What if they start dating someone else?
that ended up kind of happening because I was friends with this guy for like 2 or 3 months before we hooked up, but he knew I had a crush on him, and like we would hang out and like.
Okay, if he knew that that you had a crush on him and you were hooking up and
yeah.
he did not date you, then he was not going to date you.
No, yep.
No, it's not. Doesn't work like that.
Doesn't. Thanks. I really try to like not have this sexual tension. We only hooked up for a month though, because we didn't hook up for like 2 months of us like being friends, because it's like we kind of worked together and we didn't want to break that boundary. And then finally I like got so fucked up. I was like, you and me, and he was actually like making out with another girl. I pulled him away from her. Like I had 3 girls unfollow me on Instagram that day because they wanted him.
Oh my God.
Which is weird because he's like a very average looking man, like very average to below average looking man, but like it was the tall and skinniness that I was like,
It was the Edward Cullen effect.
yeah, and I didn't understand how all these
Twilight
girls were.
fucked us up, bro. Twilight really did fuck us up.
Is that where I got it from?
Yes.
Was it Edward?
It was Edward. You wanted to be Bella because she's all weird and has no friends and like shifty, just looking for something, some tall, skinny vampire boy to run her around.
And I do like men who kind of look like they do a lot of drugs. Like, you know, they don't look like, I mean, MGK, Pete Davidson.
I was about to say like Pete Davidson, MGK vibes. So
Like,
yeah.
They
You
don't
were
look
definitely-
healthy, but they look, I'm Scrimbly Duchess or whatever like that meme is.
I've always been into like physical fitness. I think it's because I've always been like a like thicker girl.
Yeah.
I went through like a really skinny boy phase, but it was like it wasn't the skinniness that I was attracted to. I feel like at all stages in life, like boys go through the phase where they hit that growth spurt and they're like very skinny because they grew so fast. But I was just like, I'm 5'9", I have to date a tall boy, and all the tall guys are fucking skinny. Like, how did this happen? Now I'm like the thick, short girlfriend
Their metabolism.
on fucking 100.
So, like, when you were in these, like, relationships, what were your, like, first red flags? Like, what was the first time you were like, oh, like, this doesn't feel right? Or did you even notice them at first?
My first one, the red flag, wasn't even really a red flag. I just didn't feel appreciated. Like, I felt like we were very stagnant and we were growing at different rates. And at the end of the day, it was causing stress in the relationship that we were arguing about things that, like, weren't going to change.
Yeah.
And were just the way they are. And it was like, I can't argue about, like, you taking me for granted. Like, that's a weird ass argument to even have. Like, that's just you showing me like how you feel about me type thing. But we were young. Like, we were so young. We were 18. He was a year younger than me, 17, like 19, like those early, like late teen years. Like,
yeah.
very young. Just like it was my first relationship, exploring each other, just growing at different rates, maturing at different rates. But he literally gave me such amazing experiences that it's like my first time was amazing, and so many girls have such like a terrible first experience. So I'm like, I will forever be grateful to you for that.
Yeah.
My second one, I hadn't been in a relationship for a year, and I didn't have sex that whole year either, because I was like, I'm only going to have sex with people that are my boyfriend at this point in time. So it was a little bit of sexual frustration and a whole lot of, I was a club promoter at the time, so like the type of people that I was around were not always the best people because it's nightlife in New York City.
Yeah.
So the first red flag was probably like the first real argument that we got into. I had never been in an argument with someone before who like made it their job to like make me feel like shit in the argument. Like, my family is like, let's have a family meeting and like talk about everything open and honestly. So we never get to like a crazy point. Like, I had never been in an argument where the other person wasn't trying to like find a solution. They just wanted to like make me feel terrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like maybe you're having a bad day. And then it just like kept becoming more frequent. And then I'm like, wait, maybe this is how you are. And then every time that it would get so bad, it would be like, oh, well, like, I know this is how I am, but I love you. And like, this is just because my feelings for you are so strong. Like, you're the only person I have. Like, he wasn't close with his family at all. So it was very much like, I did feel like I was the only person he had. And so when he would have these like freak outs, it would be only me to be like the punching bag and the comfort. So like, it was just way too much to be going through in my early 20s. It was a very toxic relationship.
Yeah.
It was not something that, I mean, I would say like it's not something I would wish on anyone, but at the same time, it made me so much stronger and so much more of the woman that I am today, because I was just like, I will never let anyone speak to me, treat me, use me like that ever again in my life. And I was very much of a pushover before that. Like, if you like fucked me over, you'd get 9, 10, 11 chances. Like, I never wanted to I wanted to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to believe that everyone was just out for the best interest. And if someone like fucked you over, it was probably an accident. It was never their intention. Like, I was just glass half full. Like, the world is a gumdrop. Like, and if the world's not a gumdrop, I'm going to say it's a gumdrop because I need it to be a gumdrop because I'm optimistic. And that's just not the way it works. Like, it made me very much more of a realist. Like, I'm still very like glass half full, like very positive. But at the end of the day, if someone shows you their true colors, you have to believe that. Yeah. And it's not your job to save anyone. And the only person that you're responsible for raising are the future children that you have or whatever pet you get. But it very much gave me an inner strength to protect myself that I don't think I had before. Yeah. That can only kind of be like, only come out of a situation where you feel so like taken down to zero. Because I literally like at the end of that relationship, I felt like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do, what I liked, because he was just so controlling, and everything that I did had to be checked by him and approved by him. And if he saw that my location was even like a block off, like, you know how shit glitches? Yeah. Like, especially this was like, 8 years ago? I'm 20. We're not fucking Find My iPhone shit on 1,000 right now. Like, shit would glitch, and he'd be like, you're saying you're at work, but it says that you're a block down the street. And I would like take a picture and be like, I'm at work. And he'd be like, that's a picture from earlier. I'm like, bro, I will take a video with like the time up. Like, I have no reason. That's my whole thing, is like, I would never lie in a relationship, because I feel like love is such a sacred thing that lying is so much of something that just like destroys love. Like, just be honest. I'd rather lose you because I'm honest and you don't like what I said than because you found out I was lying to you. Yeah. Like, even if the truth is like, I honestly don't remember, that's the fucking truth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's not the answer you want to hear, but I really don't remember what happened that day. I was fucked up. Like, whatever. Or what, like, literally, as long as it's the truth, it's the truth. And I'm willing to go down with whatever the truth brings out, because I would just rather be truthful than a liar.
Yeah. What was like your final straw where you're like, I'm done. I'm never talking to him again.
Oh my God, it should have been so much earlier than it was.
That's
It's
how it
like
goes.
honestly so like I was so in a situation where I was like, how did I let myself get here? Like, how did I, because I literally have like storybook parents. Like, I've watched a healthy relationship my whole life. Like, how did I get into this toxic ass relationship? But my final straw was, it was my dad's birthday and it was getting crazy. And I was just like spending time with my dad. And I wasn't answering soon enough, I guess, and the text started coming in, and I was like, you know what? Like, it's my father's birthday. Like, I have dealt with so much with you. Like,
Yeah.
8 months of this, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, will lose myself. And that's where it just literally came down to is, like, I don't deserve what's happening to me.
Yeah.
I can't go down because you're going down, and you're choosing, like, not to pick yourself up. And I'm like, I just can't drown with you anymore type thing. So that's when I really was like, I can't do this. I'll send you your stuff. But I have to be done because any longer that I stay with you, because I'm clearly not going to marry you with the situation that's happening, is just going to cause further trauma for the next person that I decide to date that I'm going to have to work through.
Yeah.
So I'm not down for any more trauma from you, sir.
Do you think that like it translated because like he was a very toxic man in your life, but do you think you've dealt with a lot of like toxic friendships as well?
100%. I mean, I'm a very glass half full, open, giving, honest, like, if you say it, then I'm going to hold you to that type person. So a lot of people have tried to, like, be shady in certain ways that it may take, like, it took me way longer when I was younger, like, to figure that shit out. Like, I was always the party house. So people would be nice to me, and then I would hear them, like, talking shit about me in school, like, around the corner. But they would be nice to my face because, oh, well, we want to go to the party at Tori's house on Friday. So it's like finding out about people, like, backstabbing you from that young age. And that's when, like, I really was like, okay, like, my best friends are my siblings. Then I have another best friend that's Janice. She's been my best friend since we were 18, 10 years now. Like, anyone else, like, if it takes time to earn my trust, and that's not for say like, oh, it takes approximately a year to earn my trust. Like, there's people that have earned my trust in a few weeks. There's people that have still don't have my trust, and I've known them for years. So it's just like, to me, there are certain things that will happen in life that I need to watch how people react to them for me to know how I can trust them. And it's usually, it takes time. Again, like, you shouldn't be jumping into friendships the way you shouldn't be jumping into relationships.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't meet a girl and then, like, suddenly you guys are, like, BFFs every day. Like, you just met her. You just met her. You don't know her. Why are you guys together every day? Like, I understand, like, getting to know people, but, like, the whole, like, instant best friend thing, I would much rather, like, say someone is who they are. There's someone I'm getting to know. We could become really good friends. That just depends on time, you know? But the toxic friendships, bro, they're just as dangerous as toxic relationships because if anything, they're worse because a toxic friendship will fuck up a totally healthy relationship if that's who you go to for advice.
Yeah. Do you think, like, the red flags are different in toxic friendships and toxic relationships?
I think there are a lot that are very similar, but there are definitely some different ones. Like,
They can show up in different ways.
they show up in different ways. Like, male jealousy will show up different in, like, a relationship than, like, female jealousy will in a friendship. Like, you'll have a girl like, oh, you're my best friend, but then you don't invite her somewhere that you're inviting other people, and it's like, well, why? And oh, well, you always wear stuff that's, like, super cute, and, like, I knew that if you came that you would look cuter than me type thing. And it's like, that's jealousy, and that's fucked up. And then relationships, it's usually like the typical, like, don't wear that because you're going to get too much attention type thing.
Yeah. So, like, in my toxic, like, friendships, relationships, etc., I feel like gaslighting is just so prevalent. And the reason, like, for me personally, it's really hard to, like, break off toxic relationships or toxic friendships because they gaslight me to the point that I don't even believe my experiences are real. I'm like, did she really say that? Like, did he really say that? Did he really do that? Because, like, I almost feel crazy until, like, like just recently I started like listening to that little voice in the back of my head being like, yes,
Yes,
that happened, Adelia. Like, so how, like, did that happen with you in your relationships, or did you always have that self-assurance?
I feel like I definitely had to build that self-assurance of listening to my intuition, because sometimes I would just think like it was me being pessimistic, like, oh, or like you're giving up.
Yeah.
And like that's not what's happening. Your inner voice or your spirit guide or your intuition or whatever you want to fucking call it, God, is telling you like you are not right in this situation. Then your body will start to reflect it. Like I literally got skinny, like my hair started thinning out, like I was just so like I had no appetite, like I couldn't eat, so unhealthy. And it was just because what happens is first it's mental, like your mental knows it, and then your body will start to reflect that as well. And it's the same way with like if you're running around too much, like if you ever notice like if you're focusing too much on like running around and like doing shit and not resting, you'll get sick
All the time.
because your body's like you need to rest.
I think like I just found out I have like mold poisoning, so I think part of the reason my body gave me mold poisoning is because if I like didn't have it, I would have I still do, but I would have ran myself into the ground.
Yeah.
Although mold poisoning does make me like get way more sleep than I would like to.
Oh my God, that's why you're on your story like getting 12 hours, 16 hours of sleep and shit.
Dude, yeah. This is the reason.
Oh my God, how long has this been?
Like 4 years. Like 4 years of me. So like I'm pretty sure I got it in college, but like I'm trying to have my current apartment, like the one in LA doesn't have any, but like the one in San Diego, like it's always just had like kind of an off smell that could be water damage. I live very close to the beach. So I'm like, the one in San Diego, I feel like very potentially could. And I was like, can you guys do a test? They did like the same test that I did. And I'm like, no, get a mold inspector out there.
Literally.
Like, you do realize I could like sue you guys if there is mold. But I've been sick for quite a few years. It's just my doctor said with how much is in my system, I am most likely still living with it somewhere. And we just can't figure out where. Or it was just really, really bad when I first got it.
Damn.
Like one or the other. But I have 3 different kinds of molds that are making me sick. 3 molds. So the one in college only had 1. So the others came from somewhere.
That's actually wild. I've never heard of anything like this.
Girl. I mean, at least I gaslit myself. I'm like, you are being so tired for no reason. Like, fuck you. Like,
Get it together.
Get it together. And there's actually a reason. So this is nice.
That's
to
wild.
Not feel crazy. But like, just.
I'm like, it's because you smoke a lot of weed.
To
For
you?
me,
Oh,
yeah. I'm like, why are you tired? Oh, we smoked a lot today.
Yeah.
Me talking to my higher self. Bitch, we're tired because we smoked.
Yeah, I can't even do mushrooms right now because, like, you know,
the
the
fungus.
fungus and the mold are just gonna like kind of
Battle it out.
battle it out. So I'm just like, I'm taking like a month break while I'm like starting to detox, which I'm just like, great. This is nothing.
How are you detoxing?
My doctor's like getting me pills. I have to take Epsom salt baths every day. Like, basically we need to figure out if it's anywhere like where I'm staying. So that like, because if I'm taking all of this, doing my detoxes, and it's somewhere
It's
where
still
I am,
in you.
then like I'm gonna keep getting exposed, and that's not gonna do anything. So it's like my apartment needs to get on that shit.
Literally, you should just hire. I think if it's something like that, if they don't do anything within a certain amount of time and you have to hire someone, you can take it out of your rent.
Oh.
Because I know that when my thermostat broke, like the heat wasn't working in my house and it was cold as fuck, if it's below a certain temperature where it's like you could actually like get sick or like potentially get hypothermia or something. It was cold as fuck in the valley. And we looked it up, and it's like literally if your landlord doesn't fix it by X amount of days, you have the authority to have someone come fix it, and it will come out of the rent.
Wow. Good to know. Good to know.
Threaten them.
Threaten. Yeah, I need to.
Seriously, like literally look up like San Diego like code for if there's mold or if there's a suspect of mold, because all you have to do is show I have a doctor's note saying that somewhere that I'm living there is mold. So if you're not taking this seriously, I'll take this seriously. I'll hire someone, and I will confront you about all your negligence on top of it.
Yeah.
Because I have to handle this myself, and this is not my property. This is your property, and I'm renting from you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I need to get stronger like Adelia. get bitchy, or I'll just have my assistant do it and like pretend to be me, be like, I'll sue you, it's Adelia, because I just like, it's so hard. I'm having her do that for like some other things. Like I'm like, yeah, just pretend to be me and like use your bitch voice, because I am.
Dude, you have to develop your bitch voice or people are just gonna railroad you.
Yeah, I've been
and you're not
working
gonna come.
I know. True that.
It's like the book, Men Love Bitches.
Okay. Fair.
You need to read the book Men Love Bitches.
Okay, my thing with books is like
you need to audiobook Men Love Bitches.
to wrap this up, I feel like just give your best ass eating advice. Like, do you like your ass eaten? Do you like to eat ass? Like, what is your best advice for that?
I feel like of all the things that happen sexually, like this is the most private one. Like literally, like no one wants to talk about it, and I'm included in those people.
Is there like etiquette? Like you shower before
I mean, clearly shower, but it's like probably the same etiquette that you would have for like any type of oral experience. Like someone's mouth is going there, so respect it the way that you would respect wanting your mouth to go there.
Yeah, I've literally talked to men who don't even like spread their ass cheeks when they're in the shower, and I'm like, see, I wouldn't eat that ass because that is disgusting. Like,
that's not even clean.
I know.
That's not even clean if you're not even trying to eat ass. That's not clean. Oh my Lord.
Men, please spread your ass cheeks when you're like showering.
Everyone spread everything.
Yeah.
Just clean everything. I'm such like in the shower, I'm a crazy person. Like I'm exfoliating everything. I have like 3 different types of systems. I have the Truly for like my boobs and my butt. Then I like exfoliate with like a mitt, and then I have like a loofah, and then I have like the actual like sand stuff. Like I'm very intense with the shower. I love showers.
As everyone should be.
It's all a Scorpio on my chart.
All right, so plug yourself, and also thank you so much for coming on, but plug yourself.
I'm Tori. You can find me anywhere on any social media platform at Tori212 Green. That also has the links to my vlog, my podcast, and my production studio. So yes,
yay!
Find me there, Tori212 Green. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Find me at It's DEELZ, D-E. 2 D's or 2 E's, sorry.
Who are you?
ITSDEELZ.com, because my social media gets deleted too often to plug anything.
Dude.
It's ridiculous. But yay, thank you.